So, Dylan, you recently released a new song called Static, which I know was written by Hardy, Hunter Phelps, Ben Johnson, and Ashley Gorley. I mean, apart from that very impressive lineup of songwriting talent, what drew you to recording it?
You're saying what drew me to that song?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it really spoke to me personally and where I grew up. I grew up in a real small town. I think a lot of people can relate to that. A lot of people grew up in a small town, and I moved to Nashville, Tennessee when I was 19 years old. So at a young age, moved to a big city, a lot different than what I grew up being around. And so, I remember when I moved here, there's a line in the song that talks about the concrete, getting away from the concrete, and I relate to that because there's times throughout the past 10 years of being here in Nashville that I've had to get away and just get back to where I grew up, back to a dirt road, back to way out where there's, like the song says, nothing but a little static on the radio, which is where I grew up. So it just spoke to me, man. It spoke to the way I grew up.
I want to ask you about the previous release, New Truck, because I see that was written by the same bunch of songwriters, but
Yeah.
particularly the chorus, it just hits you like a punch. It's got this real energy, and certainly the live music video that you've released to accompany it definitely highlights that.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy that both songs are written by the same writers. That was total accident. I didn't even realize it at the time, but yeah, the song it spoke to me. New Truck definitely spoke to me as well. And obviously, I've been with my wife since I was 15 years old, so I haven't really dealt with a lot of breakups. But there was a moment where my wife and I, we broke up for probably 3 months or so while we were dating. And it was tough, it was a tough deal to go through. So the song, obviously it's called New Truck. It's not about a truck at all though. It's about a relationship and how when you hop up in that truck, you see this girl over there and still in your memory, you're finding her chapstick or her hair tie. That's it's because of that, all the stuff you're seeing that you need a new truck. So it's a unique song. I thought it's an up-tempo breakup song, and I think it's definitely something I needed where I'm at in my career right now.
We last spoke back in April. At that point, your previous single, Nobody, was top 10 on the US country charts. And I was thinking about like between then and now, in a relatively short space of time, you've been so busy and you've achieved a hell of a lot. I mean, firstly, at the beginning of June, Nobody became your second number one. How did you celebrate?
I don't really know, to be honest with you. I don't do much celebrating as far as like a lot of people's like, oh, what'd you do? Did you go out and party? Like, if I was to go party these days, I still have to wake up at 6 a.m. because I got two who they don't know what it means to party yet, and they're going to get you up anyway. So I'm pretty sure. I mean, I got together with some friends, man, and we probably hung out and did the whole deal. But, celebrating for me right now with having young kids is still just, still just being at home, my family, and doing my thing. So that's how I did it, man. It's probably not the most celebratory way of celebrating, but where I'm at in my life right now, I would much rather be woke up without a hangover at 6 a.m. than with one. So
Also in June, Nobody picked up the CMT Breakthrough Video of the Year award. An incredible honor, but you might have been sort of scratching your head going, hey guys, I've been around here for a minute,
Yeah, man. I mean, I used to let stuff like that bother me. I really did. Like, hey, I've been in town for 11 years. It's been 5 years now since I've had my first number one. I've had a number two with Hook. Nobody's another number one. It's like, sometimes going, hey, I've been around. Like, I should have some credit, but man, you can't really look at it that way. You got to take it for what it is and take what you can get. And, the way I look at it is, hey, we won an award, won a CMT award. It was fan voted, which means a lot to me. It's not a bunch of people around a table going, hey, we're going to give this guy an award. It's actual fans, So I appreciate everybody who, CMT and everyone who nominated me for that award. And like I said, man, we can sit here all day long and go, oh, man, why is this taking so long? Why didn't I get this a long time ago? Blah, blah, blah. I just take a win for a win, man, and move forward and keep doing me.
Again, towards the end of the last time we spoke, we were kind of running out of time, and you mentioned that you have an album finished. So when are we likely to get that?
Yeah, I think right now, look, I wish I could give you the album today. Honestly, I wish I could just throw it out there, but unfortunately and fortunately, record labels have the way of doing things, and it's always for my better interest. But I'm thinking, if right now the plan is this album is going to be out between the middle of May and the 1st of June next year. So we'll start with music off that. So I'm going on a headlining tour this winter called Living My Best Life Tour. So there's actually a song on this album called Living My Best Life, and it's going to be released in January. And then come February, we're going to release another song. Probably in April, we'll release another song. So there's going to be 3 or 4 songs off this album released before the album is released. So at least there'll be music coming from this album. And then the full-length album, I'm thinking sometime between May and the 1st of June.
You recently finished a massive tour with Luke Bryan. And, you know, I was following you on social media. You look like you were having the time of your life. To have had so much time away from the stage during the pandemic, what was it like to suddenly be back on stage in massive venues in front of a large crowds? Were you initially even a wee bit rusty?
You know what? I was nervous about being a little rusty. I'm not gonna lie. My biggest fear is forgetting words. But I mean, it happens. Don't get me wrong. If you pay attention to my shows, there's some times where you're like, did he just mumble something under his breath? Like, I just keep going. You know, I just make stuff up and keep singing. But you know what, man? We really didn't miss a beat. And I know that sounds weird, not touring for a whole year. When we got going again, probably the second weekend out, it's almost like we never stopped, man. It really was. I mean, it was awesome to be back. We didn't miss a beat, man.
Yeah. I mean, you know, artists often tell me once they've been out with a big headliner like Luke Bryan, you can't help when you're watching them perform night after night. You take on board certain things or certain tricks, like you study their use of lighting to create a mood, take the energy up or down, or even just you watch how they interact with their fans in between songs. What did you learn from watching, I mean, Luke Bryan?
Yeah, I mean, dude, I learned a lot. Just how to be an awesome entertainer. I mean, the dude's the best in the business, in my opinion. He really is, as far as entertaining a crowd and making them smile and taking them somewhere. He's the best. But one of the coolest things that I took every night was, you know, there was times when Luke walked on stage that maybe he didn't feel the best. And he was like, man, I just kind of feel under the weather. He still went out there and put on a high energy show. There was a night he was so hoarse. I mean, had a bunch of drainage and stuff. And like the dude he was struggling, man. Mm-hmm. And he walked side stage and I heard him say, he's like, I don't know what to do, you know, but he walked out there and he told the crowd, he's like, y'all, I'm a little sick tonight, but the show went on. He kept playing, he kept doing his thing. And so I think what's cool about Luke is he's been doing this for so long. And he's one of the biggest things in country music. And still, every night he goes out there and gives it his all. You know, he's not going, all right, well, I've made it. I've done this. I've done that. I'm just going to go out there and put on a little show. Like, no, the dude goes out there and crushes it every single night. I like that about it, man. He's like, the dude still works hard. And I think that's what it's about.
I only recently learned of your Bayou stock event, which returned this year, October 23rd. So this is an all-day concert in Sterlington, Louisiana, and it's put on with the aim of raising money for families in need in the area. I believe the first one happened back in 2018. Why did you initially decide to start this, and what's it been like to watch it grow? Because I saw footage of you performing at it this year, and it was a massive crowd.
Yeah, you know, man, it's something I always wanted to do since I was a kid. Is if I ever got the opportunity to have some success and be able to travel the country and play music for a living, I always wanted to bring what I do every night across the country back to my little small town, you know, because we didn't get stuff like that growing up. We didn't get big concerts. We didn't get outdoor concerts with the big stage and the lights and the big sound. And that stuff didn't happen where I grew up. So I always said, man, if I could ever, have an opportunity to do that, I'm going to do it. And so we started doing it a few years ago. And just kind of, I didn't intend for it to be a charity event, but I do feel like if I'm going to come home and do something like that, it'd be really cool with the money raised from doing this, if we could do something special with it. And so the first year we bought a bunch of kids Christmas presents. And the second year, I was huge. I'm a big outdoorsman. I'm big into, I'm a big deer hunter and duck hunter, and that's just what I grew up doing. And so I got involved with this foundation called the Dream Hunt Foundation. And what they do is they take kids hunting. They take kids out in the outdoors who have never experienced that, who may be terminally ill, who may be wheelchair bound, who may be handicapped and are sick in some way to where they may not ever get the chance to go experience that. And the Dream Hunt Foundation takes them out and lets them do that. And so, man, that's something that's very dear and near to my heart. So that's what we've been doing the past couple of years. And so it's just a cool thing, man. It's a cool way for me to go home and give back, and also give back to the community and show them, hey, this is what we've been doing across the country all year.
You released My Girl in 2016. Obviously, it became your first number one, and you must still really get a blast out of performing that song. It seems like, as me, even here in Northern Ireland, observing you, it seems like over the past year, maybe 2 years, your career now has never been bigger. And in such a crowded male country market, your identity is very clear now. Whereas maybe in the past, it was, there was a couple of like Sam Hunt and yourself, kind of hard to tell people apart if you weren't really into your country music. Why do you think, what have you done, or why do you think right now, you've got that momentum?
Yeah, I don't know, dude. I think a lot of it is kind of what you said. I've kind of found who I am as an artist. I kind of have my sound. I think people's sound is always I think it always needs to change. The sound of music changes constantly. If you keep doing the same thing over and over and over again, you're going to get left behind in the music world. So I think you're always finding your sound. But what I've done is, man, I stopped worrying about trying to be something that I'm not, and just be who I am. And I think luckily it's worked out in my favor. I think people like to see that. I try to stay real. Just, I am who I am. If I'm on social media, I show my family. I show what I do. It's not, hey, I'm a big shot, I'm going and doing this and doing that. It's like, that's not what it's about for me. It's just about the real stuff, because that's, at the end of the day, I think everybody's just a real person. So I just show that, and I think it kind of translates into my music a little bit. I just like to write and record things that are true to me. And even with my girl's very true to who I am in my relationship with my wife. And back in the day, 6 years ago, I almost didn't record that song because it was so personal to me. And I'm like, nobody wants to hear my personal love story. And really, honestly, they did, because everybody has lived a personal love story like that. So I think once I realized that man, people do want to hear maybe what I do and where I've been and what I say, then I think that's what's translating right now. So it's cool.
Being quite productive and, as you say, very open and honest on social media. And again, knowing that your father was a musician as well, I see that your 3-year-old son, Beckett, he seems to be maybe an aspiring country singer. If years from now, that's the path that he wants to go down, is that something you would encourage him with?
Sure. My dad and my mom, both, when I was young, they never persuaded me either way on what to do. I mean, to the point, they were the parents that were like, they didn't tell me I was going to college. It's like, if I wanted to go to college, then yes. If I don't, then that's what I wanted. They let me make my own life decisions. I mean, they obviously, as a kid, it was their way or no way. But as far as life decisions and what I wanted to be and aspire growing up, they never once told me what I was and wasn't going to do. So I'm kind of the same way with Beckett. It's what he decides to be growing up is what he's going to decide to be, and I'll be behind him 100%, no matter what it is. If it's a doctor, if it's an athlete, if it's a musician, I will tell him here's what I think, son. I mean, my dad always told me, like with the music, he knew I wanted to do music. He told me it was not an overnight success. It's going to be a lot of hard work, but I'm behind you 100% if that's what you want to do. And that's what I did. So same way with Beckett. If he wants to be a musician, I'm going to tell him, look, it's a tough road and it's a lot of hard work. But if you decide you want to do it, there's nothing that can stop you from doing it. So just chase your dreams.
Last week, you took him hunting for the first time. What was that
Yeah.
like?
You know what? It was awesome. He's not even 4 yet. He'll be 4 in a couple of weeks, but I mean, he's still a 3-year-old, almost 4, and he's really young, you know? So I think to be that young, look, you have to be very still and very quiet when you're hunting. And I didn't know what to expect. And he did great. He was very quiet. He was very still. We actually saw some deer and they run away. So I think that's a win-win that we got to go out there and experience that. And he loves it, man. Anything that daddy does, he's all about right now. I think that's really cool. So I really have to watch what I do and what I say, or he'll be doing and saying the same thing. But I think it's cool. I think it's cool that he wants to be like that.
Listen, Dylan, I always appreciate when you give me some time. Continued success, man. And I think, as I mentioned to you before, I really hope or look forward to the day when you're over here, maybe standing on a stage in Belfast or Dublin performing, you know?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. I really want to get over there and really build the brand and build a fan base over there. And I think we're doing it. I appreciate you taking the time to do this, and all this helps build it over there. So hopefully we can continue to do that and be there soon.